Do you like books with dragons? Do you need some more recommendations to scratch that dragony itch? While there may not be a cream for that, here are some books that might help. Hi guys, welcome back, bienvenue and all that jazz. It's time to talk about some books. Or specifically today I'll be giving you 5, yes that's correct, 5 different recommendations for some different series that I've read that include dragons in some shape, form, fashion, or other. Many of them have very strong focuses on dragons. Some of them just do dragons in a more unique and cool way. And so we're going to touch on all of those. So let's just not waste any time and let's dive straight in, shall we? So these are going to be in no particular order. They're just 5 series that I have read and loved that include dragons. So first off, let's start with one that I don't want to say too much because I'm avoiding spoilers at all costs. But The Legends of the First Empire by Mr. Michael J. Sullivan includes dragons in a particularly unique way that I really enjoyed. So if you don't know, I have now read the first 3 books of this 6-book series and I love it so much. Books 1 and 3, especially book 2, was good but not great. But there are dragons in this series, and the implications that they have on the lore and just what they are in this series, I think is like so cool, so fantastic. If you don't know, The Legends of the First Empire is the prequel to the prequel to the prequel series. So if you were to read Michael J. Sullivan in publication order, you would first read the Rhaeria Revelations books, which are the Royce and Hadrian type stuff. And so that tends to be where most people start. It's kind of a more buddy cop feeling where you have this like banter between Royce and Hadrian. I haven't read them yet, so I can't speak to it too much. But then he wrote a prequel series to that, kind of showing how those 2 characters got to where they are at the start of Rhaeria Revelations. And that prequel series is called Rhaeria Chronicles. Then he wrote something, because in that timeline there is this empire, and so then he jumped back thousands of years and wrote a 6-book series describing how this empire came to be. And so that is The Legends of the First Empire. And so if you like epic fantasy, if you like hidden emotional gut punches that are just gonna like ruin you, I can't recommend Legends of the First Empire highly enough. It has kind of those usual fantasy races. So you're going to see elves, you're going to see dwarves, goblins, humans, but they're all kind of, there's a unique spin on each of them. And I just love this series so much. So just to kind of entice you further, let's read the synopsis, or not the synopsis, so like kind of blurb for book 1, Age of Myth. Since time immemorial, humans have worshipped the gods they call Frey, truly a race apart, invincible in battle, masters of magic, and seemingly immortal. But when a god falls to a human blade, the balance of power between humans and those they thought were gods changes forever. Now only a few stand between humankind and annihilation. Wraith, reluctant to embrace his destiny as the god killer, Suri, a young seer burdened by signs of impending doom, and Persephone, who must overcome personal tragedy to lead her people. The age of myth is over. The time of rebellion has begun. If that doesn't hook you, I don't know what will. There are dragons in this series too, so you should read it. Let's just keep chugging along. The next book I want to talk about is, let's do this. Recently I made a Places to Start The Forgotten Realms, and for some reason I forgot this particular trilogy, but it's perfect because now I get to talk about it because we're talking all about dragons. And so that would be the Year of Rogue Dragons trilogy by Richard Lee Byers. That is The Rage, The Right, and The Ruin. And these books focus on a time when something is happening to the dragons that's basically making them go berserk. And so they're rampaging across and somebody needs to stop them. And so if you just like that high epic adventure fantasy where literally we are trying to ally with dragons, because if you don't know much about the Forgotten Realms, it is a classic D&D campaign setting. And so we have our metallic dragons and our chromatic dragons. So the metallic dragons, that would be like your silver dragons, your gold dragons. They tend to be the good dragons that like work with people and want to help them. And then the chromatic dragons worship this goddess Tiamat. And that would be the black dragons, red dragons, white dragons, blue dragons, and green dragons. And they are seen as evil. So they are the ones who want to kill people and all of that kind of stuff. And dragons in the Forgotten Realms are highly intelligent, really powerful spellcasters super cunning and manipulative. They do speak and all of that kind of stuff. So if that kind of like classic evil dragon is something that really excites you, then I can't recommend The Year of Rogue Dragons highly enough. It is so fun, and nothing focuses more on dragons than literally a series called The Year of Rogue Dragons. So again, let's just dip a little pinky into this little blurb. It's very short. Devoting his entire life to destroying every dragon he encounters in revenge for the killing of his entire family, renegade half-golem dragon hunter Dorn is forced into an uneasy alliance when a feral madness threatens to overcome every dragon in Faerun. So, I mean, if you like adventures and dragons, what are you waiting for? Next one that I'm going to talk about is Dragon Mage by M.L. Spencer. This is a self-pub. This was originally written as kind of a standalone, so it definitely reads like a standalone. It has a pretty satisfying conclusion to it. She is working on a book 2. It has been delayed due to some personal things in the author's life, but we are still eagerly awaiting that book 2 on this channel. And it was my favorite book in January. It might be my favorite book of the year still so far. It encompasses this beautiful friendship at its heart. It does not stray into like very focused on romantical side subplot things. There is like a romance between two characters, but it's not even, it's like a subplot. It's not focused on it all. Really, the heart of the story is this beautiful friendship / brotherhood between these two characters. Not only that, we have dragon writing, we have LGBT rep, we have neuroatypical rep. So the main character is on the autism spectrum, and the way that it is done is like so well done. So I can't recommend it highly enough. It is kind of that classic fantasy boy in fishing village learns that he has power, gets swept up into the machinations of this world, and is super powerful and all that kind of stuff. The magic system is also pretty cool. It has to do with tying knots of these like threads of the universe almost. So again, I'm just going to entice you with the author's blurbs, because what better way to suck you in than with the author's own words. Aram Wraith has a power to challenge the gods. He just doesn't know it yet. Aram thinks he's nothing but a misfit from a small fishing village in a dark corner of the world. As far as Aram knows, he has nothing, with hardly a possession to his name other than a desire to make friends and be accepted by those around him, which is something he's never known. But Aram is more, much, much more. Unknown to him, Aram bears within him a gift so old and rare that many people would kill him for it, and there are others who would twist him to use for their own sinister purposes. These magics are so potent that Aram earns a place at an academy for warrior mages training to earn for themselves the greatest place of honor among the armies of men, dragon riders. Aram will have to fight for respect by becoming not just a dragon rider, but a champion, the caliber of mage that hasn't existed in the world for hundreds of years. And the land needs a champion, because when a dark god out of ancient myth arises to threaten the world of magic, it is Aram the world will turn to in its hour of need. So yes, we have magic school tropes. We have crazy evil sorcerers that literally hunt down native magic users to suck their power out of them, killing them in the process so that they can drink this magical essence to cast spells themselves. Dragon riders, evil gods. If you haven't read this book yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. It is fantastic. Then we're going to do another throwback. So this is very similar to the D&D books, but this is the Dragonlance books by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. So this is the first book in the original Dragonlance Chronicles trilogy. There are many, many other books set in this world, following these characters, following the children of these characters, etc. And this is where it all started. And if you want dragons, what better books to read than books that literally have dragons in the title? So this is Dragons of Autumn Twilight. We have Dragons of Winter Night, Dragons of Spring Dawning, Dragons. This book, I haven't read in a very long time, and I need to reread it ASAP, because I just remember being so swept up in this world and this story and loving every minute of it. It is very similar to like D&D campaign type stuff. You're going to have your half-elf, you're going to have your like halfling character, your dwarf character, your human barbarian, all of that kind of stuff. But you're going to have the Raistlin, who's one of my favorite characters in fantasy to this day, who went through this magical trial. And when you're learning to use your magic in this world, you basically pull on one of the moon goddesses, or moon gods, whatever. And so you can pull from the white moon, the red moon, or the black moon, being a good, neutral, or evil mage. And Raceland's journey and his brother Caramon, it's so good. Raceland gets like twisted by his trial, where everything he sees it as it's decaying and dying. And oh my God, it's just so good. Anyways, so again, let's just dip into the little plot summary. Lifelong friends, they went their separate ways. Now they are together again, though each holds secrets from the others in his heart. They speak of a world shadowed with rumors of war. They speak of tales of strange monsters, creatures of myth, creatures of legend. They do not speak of their secrets. Not then, not until a chance encounter with a beautiful, sorrowful woman who bears a magical crystal staff draws the companions deeper into the shadows, forever changing their lives and shaping the fate of the world. No one expected them to be heroes, least of all themselves. So good. Very similar to the Forgotten Realms. You're going to have your chromatic dragons being your evil dragons. We're fighting against Takhisis, Queen of Darkness. So good. Then we can't talk about dragons without talking about The Hobbit, right? I mean, come on. We would be remiss in our duties. So, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, the first book in the sprawling Middle-earth, Lord of the Rings series, all of those things. So this is where it all began. This was written more as a children's tale and has been edited by the author since he wrote Lord of the Rings, and he went back and changed some of the stuff in here to be more consistent with the canon, because if you read the original 1920s version, there are things that are just a little bit different. But I mean, Smaug, one of the OG evil dragons, I mean, come on, right? If you don't know what this is about, I'm concerned for your well-being. But this is the journey of Bilbo Baggins, who gets pushed out on a quest by the wizard Gandalf to travel with these 12 dwarves on a quest to regain their homeland from the evil dragon Smaug, who destroyed their homeland to get all their gold. And it is a journey of self-discovery, self-acceptance, unlikely friendships, just whimsical adventure. Yes, there are song interludes. No, they are not that important to the story, so you could just skip over them if you hate them that much. But, I mean, if you like dragons, you've got to read one of the OGs, Smaug. And so with that, those are 5 of some of my favorite books that have dragons in them. Have you read any of these? Have I managed to entice you to read any of these? Let me know in the comments down below. If you have any other dragon book recommendations, I'd love to see them there as well. And like usual, while you're down there, go ahead and click that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to see more bookish shenanigans like this from moi. Other than that, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye!